What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you so much for joining us once again for our Mastermind online training sponsored by Mitch and Donna Mastermind.com. Of course, this is yours truly, Donna, coming at you live from our home office here in Costa Rica. And in today's video, you're going to be learning how to choose a domain name and a hosting service to help you in your quest as an online marketer or an online entrepreneur or anyone who does business online in order to maximize traffic and conversions on your website and or blog. Now, this webinar is going to be for you, and it's not really a webinar, it's just a quick training. For several different reasons. Now, if you're new to the online entrepreneurship or being a business owner, and you want to get everything set up from the beginning, then you're going to want to take a look at this quick guide to start setting up a website and a domain name for yourself. This webinar is going to be for you. Also, some people, when they have a business idea, they just get the idea and they just go. A website, domain, none of that is important to them, and so you may be one of those people who have, been selling a product or, been working a business, but hadn't even thought about a website. Well, at the end of the day, you do need a website, because that's one of the first things that people ask you when you're, talking to them about your services and products. They want to say, I want to see it online. Let me take a look at it. So you do want to set up a domain name. You do want to have a website. And so this webinar, this training is going to be for you as well. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. So grab a pen and paper and let's get started. So your goal when picking, your main goal, should I say, when picking a domain name is to choose a name that not only represents your brand, okay? But it also lets people know what it is that you're about, what's unique about you and your business, and also what positions your website to influence the customer's mind, okay? So you will want to include keywords in your domain name so that it's more likely to come up in search engines. Like when people go and search for something and they go to Google or Bing or whatever search engines that they're using now, when they go and type in the keyword, you want the search engine results. When people are searching for a particular phrase, you want your domain name to come up. And I'll get into that a little bit later, more into that a little bit later. So here are some tips for choosing a good domain name. The first thing that you want to do is keep it short. And I know sometimes it's really hard to have a short domain name. I know for sure that it's hard to find a domain name that's only one word or two words. Sometimes it's hard to come up with something that's 3 words, but I would go for 3 if possible. Otherwise, 4 should be okay, depending on how long each word is. You want to keep it memorable. You want to have something that is catchy and that, people are going to just remember and stand out in people's mind. And you don't want to make it something that's easily confused, especially something that's easily confused with somebody else's website that's already out there. You don't want somebody that you're thinking they're going to go to your website, but they've gotten confused and typed in something else, and then they end up on someone else's website. So you want to be careful that you're not confusing people or have a domain name that will confuse people. And like I said, make it clear about what it is that you're all about, that your website is, your brand, and what they're going to get once they get there, to the degree that you can. And also you want something that's not hard to misspell. if it's a certain word or maybe your last name or some kind of industry jargon, then just try to keep it simple so people don't, get confused out there. Also, it needs to relate to the core of your business. Like I said, it should tell people what you do, what you have to offer, what they can expect once they get to your website. If you're able to do that, you will be more likely to get people typing in the search engine. Then they're going to be directed to your site, and then they will be a little more pre-qualified once they get to your site. And when you have pre-qualified people ending up on your site, then it's easier for you to convert them once they get there. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. So once you've brainstormed a couple of suitable domain names, the next step is to search and see if they're available or if someone else is using them already. So what you want to do is the easiest way for you to get to this point is to sit down and not even bother about checking as you're brainstorming, not even worry about checking each one to see if they're available, right? You just want to make a list on a piece of paper as fast as you can of every possible name and variation that would work for you. Now, luckily for me, I have my business partner, my husband, the creative guy. He's the creator. He comes up with the ideas. And generally, he'll sit down and come up with something jazzy or something catchy. And we'll go to the search engine. We'll go to the area to find out if it's available. And generally they are. So you don't necessarily have to, just try to type everything in all at one time. Just make a list, come up with something, and then if you type in something, then the system is going to give you suggestions. So for example, if you type in, let's make money, and letsmakemoney.com is not available, then they'll say, it'll come up with the suggestion, letusmakemoney.com. So you don't have to worry about that either. Just come up with some things, and then you'll be able to find something from your brainstorm. Then you want to go to the same place you would to purchase your domain name. I will give you a couple of places a little bit later on, and just type in the domain to see if it's available. Narrow it down to see which ones are left, and then of those that are available, pick the one that's perfect for you, perfect for your brand, perfect for your business, that's going to send the message that you want people to get when they think of your company or when they think of what it is that you're offering. So the next step that you want to do is to choose a place to purchase and register your domain name. And there are a few popular ones out there. The most popular one to register a domain is GoDaddy.com. You've probably seen their Super Bowl commercial, so they do a pretty good job of letting you know they're around. But a lot of complaints though. Most of the complaints when you're dealing with GoDaddy is it's just hard to transfer the domain name out of their system later on. So sometimes, you might be with GoDaddy, you need to transfer the domain out to another server or another host. Well, sometimes it can be really difficult and really confusing to do that. So that's mainly the complaints that you get from GoDaddy, and that they're not really necessarily that cheap. If you're looking for a lesser one, in terms of price, then go with Namecheap. The domain names are a little bit less. It's not as much of an upsell and confusion when you go to purchase it. When you go and put the domain name in your shopping cart, it's just very clear and cut. With GoDaddy, you'll end up buying domains and different add-ons and signing up for stuff, and you have no clue that you're doing, and it's like upsell, and then your credit card. So Namecheap is different in that way. Also, you can get a domain name through the same company that you use for a hosting service. And we'll cover those in just a minute because that's the route that we go. But if you're using Bluehost for hosting, for example, you can also purchase a domain name through Bluehost. And that can save you some time, and then you don't have to worry about transferring and name servers and pointing to different, it just becomes very confusing at first if you've never done it. So once you've got your domain name taken, then it's time to choose a hosting service. And first, I just want to talk about what exactly is this? What exactly is a hosting service? Because some people out there, you may have heard of, people saying, go get a hosting service. And you're like, I just don't know what you're talking about. Well, I don't want to bore you too much with the technical details, but to make a long story short, there are things that appear on the internet, as we all know, on certain websites, because those websites are hosted, and all of the pages and the words and the images and videos are saved somewhere. Non-technical people don't know where all that stuff goes, but let's just call it a cloud. So when you have a website, you go to a website and you see all of this activity, all of that stuff has to be stored somewhere, and they're stored in places. They're called servers that looks like the one that you see here on the screen. So sometimes when you go to a website and the website is down, all that means is that their servers, wherever they host their website, either those servers are, not able to hold as much information that they need for that particular website, or, sometimes those servers do go down for maintenance to make more room and more space for all of the different types of people and websites that they have. So basically, you have to pay a certain company a fee each month in order to use, or in order to have your website's content appear on the page when people go there. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Now, here's a couple of criteria to keep in mind when you're choosing a hosting company to use. First, and these are my suggestions. So first, you want to look at price and what you get for the hosting package that you're ordering, at how much you can save online. So how much traffic can the website that the hosting company, can they handle? How much traffic can they handle? Now, if your website is for small, low traffic, if it's like a small, low traffic website, then just look for something that's less expensive, because you don't need all of that extra stuff. You don't need, something that a company who has a lot of traffic and a lot of different dimensions would need. So you don't have to even worry about that. So go for something that's less expensive, but also you want something that has important features for you to use, something that makes it very easy to upload. You're not trying to be too technical with your website. You just want something that's very user friendly, so you can boom, 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 go in, build your website, and have it up and running. You want things like new plugins for your WordPress site if you use WordPress, new content, new videos, easy to give access to someone else, and easy to create email addresses, which is important. And when I say the email addresses and forwarding addresses for your domain name, so, a lot of times it's not really professional looking as a business owner to have like a Gmail account or a Hotmail account. So for example, one of our websites is MitchAndDonnaMastermind.com. So when we have our email address is info@MitchAndDonnaMastermind.com. Even though we do have a Gmail account, which is mdgmastermind@gmail.com, we really don't use that for business purposes. We use our domain name email address. So that's what I mean. Also, how good is their help and their support? you want to do a little bit of research on a company first to find this out. If you run into trouble, if you're trying to build a website and you get stuck and you want to be able to pick up the phone or do the chat or however, you just want to be able to get in touch with the company, get your questions answered so your website can be running up and smooth, and so you can build more customers, more clientele. You want to be sure that the people that you choose, the company that you choose, will get back with you within a few days to answer the questions that you have. It's very important. So with that being said, let's jump into some of the hosting companies that are out there. And there are a couple of companies that you can use, and GoDaddy is one of them. GoDaddy offers hosting, but personally, I use Bluehost, and I absolutely love Bluehost. I've used two in the past, Bluehost being one of them, and out of the two, Bluehost is my favorite. It's always met my needs. They allow for unlimited data storage, and well, actually, it's not completely unlimited, but it's way, way, way more than you'll probably need unless you're some big time internet marketer. But you pretty much pay for the whole year in advance, and you can host as many domain names as you want just with one account. So basically, the way that I look at it is, why pay $10 a month per website if you can just pay $120 for the whole year or whatever and have as many websites as you want? So for us, for example, we have about 9 or 10 domain names. So basically at $10 a month, we would be paying $90 per month per domain name with a lot of these other options that are out there. But with Bluehost, we pay for the hosting service for the year. And then we purchase our domain name, and then those domain names can sit on our hosting site basically for that $120 fee annually. Okay, so it's just so much better. Now, HostGator is similar to Bluehost. I used HostGator first, and I don't know if it's that I was new to hosting, but I just felt so confused and I couldn't get it right. So I did end up switching over to Bluehost and had a much better experience. And like I said, I've been with them for about 3 or 4 years. So as I said, Bluehost is very similar. HostGator is very similar to Bluehost, and there are also 3 new ones that's on the scene that I haven't looked into because I'm perfectly happy with the technicians, the service with Bluehost. Everything that I look for, the price, everything is good for Bluehost. But you want to check it out. Check out Just Host. That's a new one. iPage, and also this one, I don't know the name. It's Arvix or Arvixe or something like that, but there's a spelling, Arvixe. Check those out, see if it's something that you want. Otherwise, I will put my link to Bluehost, the link to Bluehost in the description of this video. So once you've got a domain name and hosting set up, then it's time to create your website. Now, your website is going to be the central place for people to find what you have to offer and to make purchases. It's very important that your website is set up to be appealing and also influence people to take actions that you want them to take, like subscribing or making that purchase. So in order to find out new ways of getting people to your site or helping them, go ahead and subscribe to our channel, or if you found this video to be informative, hit the like button for this particular video. Subscribe, follow us for more educational videos as we come out with them. We take a lot of time to get these things prepared, and we have a lot more videos coming within the next few weeks. So subscribe, stay tuned. Thank you for joining and watching, and we will talk to you soon.